Alright guys, it's Bulbs and this is week 8 now of the 4th season of the Home Draft League. Our opponents this week is Pokeprimer and the Anaheim Appletuns. Obviously coming off a bit of a disappointing battle last week, but hopefully we can come back with a bit of a bang. And on that, let's jump straight to the league tables. Obviously last week's loss was a little bit disappointing. It's taken us from the top spot down to 4th. But really, like I've been saying all this whole time, I'm still aiming to sneak into playoffs. I think I've said like I expect to finish anywhere between like sort of 10th to, or maybe like 9th to 6th. Like that would be a good season for me. But obviously, like, we've got to really aim to get into the playoffs. I think it was a couple of days ago. Manchester City played the Oregon Golducks. Now, I was actually hoping for a Manchester City win, which sort of shows that I'm not looking to get back to the top spot. I'm looking to try and consolidate our position in the playoffs. Unfortunately, the Golducks did win, which means that a couple of these teams here, because I think the Darkrai's might have won as well. They did. They beat the Oshawots. So, it's getting a bit dangerous. A couple of these teams down here are beginning to obviously sneak up on me. We've got a really difficult run in the last half of the season as well. So, even though I was top spot at week number 6, I am very much still aiming to sneak in to the playoffs. I think we've had a really strong start to the season. I'm expecting to falter a little bit in the second half of the season, but if we can, literally, if I finish 8th, if I just about manage to drag myself into the playoffs, I'm going to call that a really successful season for the Bulbs. On that, I'm just going to quickly go over our schedule for the remaining games. So we're playing the Anaheim Appletons now, who are in second position. Are they was it second? In second position. Absolutely incredible battler. He actually came in. I think he came in after the first or second week. He did a couple of battles with the team that wasn't even his, and he won both of those. Got his own team, and he's just been pretty much unstoppable since, apart from this one match against Manchester City. So the fact that I just think he's going to be a phenomenal battler this week. Not feeling too confident about my chances. Next up, we've got Earthlab and the Colorado Agrons. Brilliant battle of the Golducks, who, even though they're down there in the league standings, Ballistic is the best battler this league's got. Like, I'm just saying that right now, so that'll be a terrifying match. Tortuga, obviously, they're in battling in the top 4. I think they're 5th, like us. It's an equal record, really good battler. I think it's a Season 1 champion, I do believe. So, absolutely terrifying. Then we've got Manchester City, who are currently sitting top of the league. The White Sox are obviously, we're going to win that, obviously. But everything else is actually a really difficult battle for us. So, we did really well in the first half of the season. I think there was a couple of easier, quote-unquote, easier battles in there. We did obviously beat the Lucarios, which should have been tough, but played out of our skins in that match. We beat the Darkrai's, but that was arguably the worst battle, the worst match that I've played, even worse than some of the losses that I've had. So we were just lucky with the 2 freezes there. So what I'm saying is, like, I'm really happy with the first half of the season, but this is going to be difficult. I'm only expecting to win 1, maybe 2 of these matches, and hopefully we can sneak into the playoff position from that somehow. Today's opponents, the Anaheim Appletons, they're going to be one of the toughest matches of this entire run-in. So on that, I'm going to jump straight into looking at the teams for this battle. I just realised I forgot to go full screen on the league standings there, which is absolutely just going to bug me. Anyway, as always, just going to quickly run through our team. We haven't made any trades, and we've hit the trade deadline, so no trades for the season. I'm not too disappointed about that. I don't really know what trades. Like, I did look at a few potential swaps. But I genuinely think that this team, the synergy that this team's got, the team itself might not be the best, but the synergy amongst the team, the variety of teams that I can bring, I think it's a real strong point of my draft. So I'm pretty happy with the team, to be honest. I wasn't really looking at making changes. On that, we've got the Drakefish, Excadrill, Hippowdon, Politoed, Volplume, Heliolisk, Houndoom, Ninetales, Skarmory, Blastoise, and the ever-present unkillable Mega Ordino. Next up, we have got the Anaheim Appletons. They've got the Darkrai somehow. They've got the Darkrai, Mega Camerupt, Jirachi, Togekiss, Suicune, Vikavolt, Drampa, Primeape, Delmise, Solrock, and Cinccino. There's a lot on this team that doesn't particularly concern me. Stuff like even the Drampa, which I know can be threatening, doesn't really scare me that much. The Solrock, Obviously, so there is a Trick Room set that doesn't concern me too much. Cinchino, I know that it likes to run King's Rock skill link. Doesn't really concern me. Mega Camerupt should be really threatening against many other teams. But I don't know. I think that with my team makeup, Mega Camerupt doesn't really scare me too much. On the other side, though, Darkrai, absolutely terrifying. Don't understand how it wasn't banned. Yeah, really, really scary Pokemon. Jirachi, Togekiss, obviously they are just the flinch masters. The fact that he's got both of them on his team is terrifying. Suicune actually really concerns me for this match. Bulky Water is sort of the one form of Pokemon that can take out my team, or at least like stop me from performing. And Suicune is probably the bulkiest of all the bulky waters. So yeah, it's really scary. Obviously, Vikavolt not so much as an offensive presence, but the fact that it can run sticky webs really, really scares me. And Primeape as well, actually. I think that he will bring Primeape this match. Just because, where is it? Yeah, that is the column there for the type matchups that I've got against fighting types. Fighting types are they are my absolute kryptonite. My only resistance is Vileplume. And yeah, I've got 3 weaknesses. Yeah, fighting types just tear through my team, so I wouldn't be surprised if he does bring the Primeape. One reason I will say why Primeape does terrify me is that I did say that the one fighting resist that I've got in the team is Vileplume. Obviously, Vileplume is a really, really good Pokemon that I've used really well this season. You'll notice along the top here, not bringing it this week. Go over that in a little bit. Anyway, starting off, we got the Peter Rabbit, the Mega Ordino. Obviously, it's one thing that I also do worry about coming into the second half of the season is that my move sets and my team builds aren't entirely completely original. So I think I won a few battles by shocking my opponents because they didn't expect me to be bringing stuff. I can already tell with this team makeup, it's getting a little bit familiar, which it kind of suits me because the more familiar you get with your team, the way that it plays, the better you can battle with it. But at the same time, in a counter team format, it's gonna start getting a little bit predictable. Obviously, the whole point of my draft is that it's unpredictable with the 3 weathers, so I do need to start thinking about trying to switch up my team build over the next few weeks. But I do believe that this is the best team for this battle. Anyway, on that, Mega Ordino is coming as specially defensive Cleric Wall. It's pretty much what I brought every single week, but it does the trick really well. This thing is obviously just there to stop the Darkrai, although if the Darkrai does get a nasty plot up with the Sludge Bomb, it can punch a hole through this. I do have kind of a contingency plan to that. I was tempted to bring a Sleep Talk or something in case he did go for the Hypnosis or the Dark Void, but really I'm just going to hit the Dazzling Gleam. Dazzling Gleam is a 2-hit KO if the Darkrai isn't bulk invested. So hopefully I can Dazzling Gleam upon his one nasty plot and then maybe switch out to Skarmory on a predicted Sludge Bomb or something like that, or Protect Scout potentially. Bit of mind games there. It's obviously not the best Darkrai counter, but I don't think there really is such thing as a best Darkrai counter. That thing's terrifying. Yeah, hopefully this thing can do the trick. We got running the Wish Protect obviously for semi-reliable recovery and also to pass the wishes on as normal. Got the Heal Bell there. I was tempted to run a Toxic because I really, really want to be able to wear down that Suicune if it doesn't run the rest. And I wanted to go Toxic on the Mega Ordino, or even Knock Off on the Mega Ordino, and then bring a Vileplume for Aromatherapy, but I couldn't find room in the team for the Vileplume, so I figured that a Cleric with Heal Bell is much more important than either a Knock Off or a Toxic on the Mega Ordino, so that's why I'm rocking with this kind of set. Like I say, it's pretty standard at this point, but it's done the trick. I've really, really, really enjoyed Mega Ordino this season. Next up, we've got Tiny, the Excadrill. Punches through his offensive core of Jirachi and Togekiss. You can't not bring Excadrill when you look at his team makeup. Just run through here. The Pokemon weak to ground, obviously the Mega Camerupt, got the Jirachi. He does have the 3 immunities, and I was tempted, because 2 of them are Levitate immunities, I was tempted to run the Mold Breaker, especially for the Vikavolt, but the Solrock's weak to the Iron Head, and we do have the Rock Slide for the Vikavolt, so hopefully we can work our way around the Levitate immunities there. And then, yeah, if you look at this column here, he does have a lot of steel resistances, but obviously the Togekiss is weak to it, as is the Solrock. So I think between the Earthquake and the Ironhead, I'm not really going for like a late game win con sweep at this point. It's more just to maybe if I can get properly late game to the point where everything is chipped down to the point where a less powerful, because we're not running Swords Dance this week, a less powerful Earthquake can top off my opponent. That's sort of the plan with this, but it's not a win con by any means. But if we're going through the team, Darkrai doesn't want to take an Earthquake, Camerupt doesn't want to take an Earthquake, doesn't want to take an Earthquake, doesn't want to take an Ironhead. Suicune concerns me a lot, but hopefully we can Toxic Stall that thing down. Vikavolt doesn't want to take the what's called the Rock Slide. Drampa doesn't want to. So you're looking through the team. Maybe Dalmise confronts the Excadrill quite well. But looking through his team, it's not like I'm going to OHKO everything and sweep, but a lot of his Pokemon don't want to switch in to the Excadrill, which is kind of why I'm bringing it. Going Expert Belt, a Choice Band was, or a Life Orb were tempting for the extra power. I just really like the idea of an Expert Belt. It's something that I use a lot in Gen 6, and I haven't really used too much of this strategy this generation. But E-Belt, it's sort of like you can bluff a Band or you can bluff a Scarf. And then my opponent plays around that and I switch up the moves without him thinking that was a possibility. So Expert Belt is there just for mind games really, and obviously the extra power on the super effective hits is going to be really useful. Like I said, just we got the Earthquake, Ironhead, Rock Slide. I was tempted to bring a Swords Dance variant again, but looking at my opponent's Vikavolt and Sticky Web, I need the Rapid Spin. Even if this thing doesn't function as a late game sweeper, the Rapid Spin is absolutely essential. I do have the Defog on the Skarmory as well, but those Sticky Webs absolutely terrify me. So I think having two forms of hazard removal on the one team is absolutely important at this point. I've just realised I put the Speed EVs in. I didn't actually finish it off with the attack and the HP. That would have been awful if I would have started the game without realising that. My God. But yeah, sorry, we're running the 232 EVs in speed and we're Jolly. That allows us to outspeed a Jolly Togekiss that isn't Choice Scarfed. It also allows us to outspeed, if we get to +2 through the Sand Rush, we'll outspeed absolutely everything Choice Scarfed on his team. If we do get hit by the Sticky Web, our +2 then essentially becomes a +1, and so we outspeed everything that is essentially +0 that is unboosted, if that makes any kind of sense. Next up, obviously, to pair with the Excadrill, we've got the Hippowdon. Yeah, again, it's a very generic Hippowdon set. I am going to start mixing these up. I'm going to start bringing different weathers, actually, because I think I brought rain once, maybe twice. I brought sun once. I am going to need to start mixing up those weathers a little bit more, because I do have a bit of a reliance on sand at this point, and my opponent, if you look through the weather sets here, just look at this column here. These are all the Pokemon that can run Rain Dance, and it's pretty much all the same Pokemon that can run Sunny Days, so I fully expect to bring those. And on that, I was tempted to bring a Taunt on maybe the Skarmory or the Mega Ordino, but I couldn't really find room for it on the movesets. We'll get to Skarmory in a little bit, actually, but I was just looking, maybe I do need to try and find room for Taunt. Anyway, does this thing learn Taunt? No, it doesn't know. That's annoying. Anyway, yeah, Earthquake is obviously there just for stab. Toxic is there for the Suicune and also the other flying mons, levitate mons. Yeah, Stealth Rock, because I would like to get my own hazards up. Like I say, it's going to be a bit more of a chip game, and Slack off for reliable recovery. Yeah, it's like I say, it's a pretty uninspired Hippowdon. To be completely frank, a lot of this team is kind of uninspired. I don't know why, I was just struggling. I was really struggling to get my head into this team build. Like I said, I think this team is good enough, but yeah, in terms of bringing fire sets or surprises, or trying to take out my opponent through any unconventional means, which is often quite a fun way of doing draft formats. This is a bit more of a standard team. Yeah, I mean, of my entire run, like I was saying earlier, I think the Anaheim Appletuns are actually going to be one of the toughest teams that I've got to face. So I'm not expecting to win this match. If I can just put in a good account for myself, that's sort of the way that I'm going to view this game. I'm not going to be tilting. I'm hopefully not going to be too salty. Yeah, I just want to get through this week, relatively unscathed. If we can protect the differential, yeah. If you look at the league table here, our differential is actually really important, especially compared to not so much the teams above us, but the teams below. I think the differential might actually come in really, really key in keeping us in the playoffs towards the end of the season. So this match is going to be, like I say, I'm not expecting to win, but if I can preserve a differential, lose by maybe 2 or 3 as opposed to 5 or 6, that is sort of a good week for me. Anyway, yeah, Heliolisk is obviously just here for the Suicune. Suicune absolutely terrifies me. Running Sandvale because we might as well. Although, to be fair, a dry skin. I was looking at these abilities just thinking about the weather, but a dry skin would help if we're bringing this thing for the Suicune. We'll stick with the Sandvale just in case it helps out against the rest of the team. I don't want to be too circumstantial with my build and then build this entire mon just to take on one Pokemon. So I'm going to stick with the Sandvale. He probably won't even go for water moves against me anyway, predicting the dry skin. So hopefully the mind games on that alone will help us take on the Suicune. Anyway, obviously Thunderbolt is there for the general stab of it. Volt Switch because you've always got to run Volt Switch on a mon like this. Surf is mainly there for the Camerupt. Looking through his team doesn't really help with anything else. And the Weather Ball. I mean, obviously Hyper Voice was the other alternative, but there's not too much that Hyper Voice deals with that my other moves don't. And so on that, I was thinking Vikavolt is actually... It's not like a decent counter or anything, but it's a decent switch into the Heliolisk. And so if you can get the Weather Ball off, obviously if there's no weather, we'll get the stab boost, so we'll go up to 75 base power instead of 50. Isn't great, but you know, it's better to run Weather Ball on a normal type mon than any other mon, I guess. But yeah, obviously if we've got the Sand Up, Weather Ball becomes Rock type, which one-hit KOs a Vikavolt, which is really, really nice. So it's just there because we had the move going, essentially, a bit circumstantial, but it'll be fine. If not, we didn't really need that move anyway, so we might as well fill it with the Weather Ball. The 184 EVs in speed when we're timid takes up to 330, which allows us to outspeed an Adamant Cinccino, just in case we need it, and everything that is a lower base speed than that. Yeah, like I say, this thing isn't going to be any kind of a win con. It's just a nice Pokemon to have, and it's just there to deal damage to the Suicune. Next up, we've got Knives Out. Like I was saying, Sticky Webs terrify me, so I needed a second hazard remover, which is why we got the Defog there. Dual Wing Beat. For some reason, I've been running Drill Peck every week. With this thing over the Brave Bird, I actually realised I kind of want to run. It was actually when who was it against? Who was it last week? It wasn't the Gligar. It was the Golbat. Sorry, the Golbat last week. When it ran Dual Wing Beat, I sort of realised, wait, that actually kind of makes more sense. We can break through sashes with this. I know it's a little bit less accurate, but I kind of want to run a Dual Wing Beat Skarmory. Just see if it works. See if it helps me. Like I say, sashes are the main things that I'm thinking of there. But yeah, Dual Wing Beat, why not? Let's mix it up a little bit. We got the Body Press there, obviously for the Darkrai. Like I'm saying, this is kind of, if the Darkrai does get to +2, kill the Mega Ordino with the Sludge Bomb, we can hopefully bring in Skarmory, or we can predict a Sludge Bomb, bring in the Skarmory. If the Stealth Rocks, if there aren't hazards on my side of the field, if the Sturdy remains intact, we can... I'm not sure if the Body Press is an OHKO, but it does about 80% or something like that to the Darkrai. Which obviously, yeah, that's hopefully either going to take out the Darkrai or put it in range to the point where something that outspeeds it, maybe a Choice Scarf Dracovish, can do the rest of the damage. And Roost is obviously there for the reliable recovery. Yeah, again, very uninspired Skarmory set, apart from maybe the Body Press might be able to catch something off guard. Yeah, got 8 EVs in speed just because... I mean, it was going. I could have stuck it in the attack, I guess, but obviously with the Body Press, the attack isn't the key stat for us offensively. This thing allows us to outspeed. If my opponent does bring it, we can outspeed a Solrock. If the Solrock's down low on HP, I can maybe take it out before it sets up a Trick Room. Very, very circumstantial, but it's only 8 EVs. Like, it's not going to be too much of a major factor in the match anyway. He might also outspeed. He might also EV some of his slower attacking threats to maybe outspeed a Skarmory that's uninvested, so he can catch him off guard with that. Who knows? And then yeah, last up we got the Sid Vicious. This yeah, it was either the Drakefish or the Vileplume I was going to bring. Vileplume, obviously, like I was saying before, the aromatherapy would be really nice, and it would be really nice to have the Primeape counter. But yeah, just looking at my opponent's team, Choice Scarf, Fisher's Rend, it's a very similar set to last week. Also, my opponent is relatively ice weak, so having the Ice Fang on there is quite nice as well. Outrage is just there for stab and leech life because I literally, between Fisher's Rend and Ice Fang, I didn't need any other two moves. Outrage was, like I say, just stab, might as well stick it on there. And Leech Life, I'm not going to be using this fourth move slot, so I might as well just stick something on there that can restore HP a little bit, I guess. Super Fang was also a temptation with the Suicune, but with rest, he can rest up, and obviously Super Fang's going to be doing progressively less and less damage, so I don't want to get locked into it. Yeah, that is the Drakefish set there. We got this 260 speed on the Drakefish. Unfortunately, we had to go Jolly over Adamant, which means we're doing a little bit less damage, but this allows us to outspeed a modest Choice Scarfed Togekiss, which I think my opponent might be bringing. Obviously, the Ice Fang is going to... Actually, no, I think even the Fisher's Friend still does more damage than the Ice Fang. But yeah, that essentially allows us to outspeed, I think, pretty much everything on my opponent's team. If it's not Choice Scarfed, and a fair whack of the Pokemon if they are Choice Scarfed. So that is the team. Like I say, I'm feeling a little bit uninspired. I'm not feeling overly confident. But I do think that it's quite nice to run the Sandvale Heliolisk. Hopefully that does come in a little bit clutch. Yeah, we don't really have too much in by way of a dedicated win con. It's kind of the way that I prefer to play, though. I like to have my offensive threats without too much pressure put on them. So between the Excadrill, the Heliolisk, and the Dracovish, we should be able to put enough offensive pressure on my opponent's team without having to worry too much about preserving one win con. Between the walls, between the Mega Ordino, the Hippowdon, and the Skarmory, we should be able to deal with a lot of his offensive threats, apart from the Darkrai. The moment I take that Darkrai out, I'm much, much happier for the rest of the match. But yeah, I will see you. I'm not sure whether it'll be a live com or not. Depends how late the battle's played. I do prefer doing live comms, obviously. It's also really nice to talk through my thought process as I do it. I do believe that maybe if I would have been live comming my battle last week, I would have thought through my moves a little bit more because I'm talking them through, and maybe I wouldn't have made a couple of misplays that I did. But yeah, I will see you later for either the live com or the post com. Just one thing to note just before we do jump into the battle is I did actually swap out the dual wing beat for the taunt. I know I spoke about that in the team builder, and yeah, there's a lot of Pokemon on his team, especially stuff like the Suicune, the Vikavolt, stuff that do threaten me with a certain set of moves. So yeah, I just figured that taunt was actually a really important move to have on the team. Got rid of the dual wing beat because there's nothing really that Body Press doesn't deals heavy damage to, apart from like the Delmise, but just swap out into something else if that ever did come up. And yeah, on that, this is another post-com, unfortunately. I know it's 3 weeks in a row and I'm kind of gutted about it because I do enjoy live comms, but yeah, we are stuck with the post-com today. Yeah, so team lineups here. My opponent's team isn't really too dissimilar to what I expected. Kind of surprised at the Tramper, but yeah, I was kind of happy to not see the Mega Camera up there. And yeah, obviously the Darkrai terrifies me, and the Serene Grace core of Jirachi and Togekiss, that is quite scary. But otherwise, I mean, obviously I was disappointed to see the Suicune, but I can deal with it. It's not like an offensive threat to me. It's just its defensive presence is really, really annoying for my potential sweeping. But yeah, I didn't feel too unconfident just looking at these two teams lined up against each other. I do believe that I have prepped really well for each of these Pokemon. Less so for the Dramper, but I didn't really feel like I needed to prep for it. But yeah, I was feeling relatively okay. As for leads, obviously my opponent didn't bring his Electric Immunity, didn't bring the Mega Camera up, so I can just get a safe Volt Switch off with the Heliolisk. I think I outspeed everything apart from the Darkrai naturally, unless it's Scarfed. If they do outspeed me, then I get potential Scarf information on that front. So yeah, I led off with my Heliolisk. He leads off with the Vikavolt, and I just straight away just Volt Switch out. Yeah, I was kind of tempted to go. I think a Surf did like 40% or something like that. It might be quite nice to get damage off on this thing. But I was just thinking, right, if this Vikavolt wants to step the sticky webs, I just want to go into my Rapid Spinner straight away. He goes for the Mud Shot, which is, I mean, I bloody didn't expect that. It makes sense, obviously, that they'd go for the Mud Shot on the Heliolisk, but you never see a Mud Shot on a Pokemon like this. And also, he dropped my speed, which means that my speed was now on, I think it was on like 198 or something like that. Anyway, either way, it was below 203, which is where he maxes out. So if he's max speed, he can two-hit KO me with the Mud Shot. So I switched out into the Skarmory. So he switched out into the Suicune. I kind of figured that even if he wanted to go for like, I mean, he's not going to go for the electric move. Pardon me, on the Excadrill. If he goes for the Mud Shot, I'm safe. If he goes for the Sticky Webs, I can defog them away. If he goes for like a Bug Buzz, then I obviously resist that 4 times. So I felt relatively confident with that switch. And he goes straight away into the Suicune, which is really, really fortunate that I brought the Taunt on the Suicune. Obviously, he switches out but brings in the Vikavolt, which means no Sticky Webs. That's absolutely lovely. And I think I now switch out into the Mega Ordino, or the Ordino now. Not Mega Up just yet. Obviously, it's just my specially defensive wall. I want to get that Mega up as soon as possible so I can get the Fairy typing. And that's exactly what I do. I think I set off a Wish here just for a bit of a safe kind of thing. As he goes into the Jirachi, I go into the Hippowdon expecting like an Iron Head. He goes for the Drain Punch here, and there was something on this. I don't know what it was. There was just something about the way that he went for the the Drain Punch, and then he switches out straight away. That really made me think that he might be Scarfed. So just bear that in mind. I set my Stealth Rocks on the switch because I knew that he was going to switch out. I was kind of tempted to go for the Earthquake. Obviously, if you see a Jirachi in front of you, Earthquake is really tempting, but nah, just get your rocks up. Like I say, a lot of my game plan this week, like in other weeks, is just to get chip damage off on my opponent. So, yeah, obviously Stealth Rocks are really important for that. He brings out the Suicune, and I'm thinking if he goes for the Scald, I think he's doing about 40 to 50% if he's uninvested. I can slack that off, or I can get it Wish passed on to me at a later point. So I just really want to get the Toxic off. Unfortunately, he doesn't go for the Scald. He goes for the Toxic, and he misses, which is obviously unfortunate on his part. But I do have the Cleric in Mega Ordino, so I wasn't too fussed if I did get Toxic. Obviously, hacks are hacks, and it's unfortunate when you do miss a Toxic. We managed to land ours, and now this Suicune. I mean, obviously he's going to be running the rest, but at least now he's put. There's a bit more pressure on him to go for the rest. Yeah, I mean, the main reason I put Toxic on the Hippowdon or just on anyone on my team was so that I could get the Suicune Toxic. So that was really nice that I managed to do that. Obviously, he takes the Sandstorm damage and the Toxic. I switch out into the Mega Ordino knowing that I can just take absolutely anything. He goes to the Scald, doesn't get the burn, but like I say, not really too much of a big deal because I do rock the Heal Bell on this thing. I think, do I just Wish up here? Actually, no, I Heal Bell, don't I? I Heal Bell to get rid of the Toxic. Oh, no, sorry. I do Wish as he goes to the Toxic. I know that I can live 2 Scalds, so I'll go for the safe Wish Heal Bell combo. Which obviously means that the Hippowdon... Oh, wait, no, the Hippowdon wasn't. Sorry, the Hippowdon wasn't Toxic, was it? My bad. But yeah, get rid of the Toxic on the Mega Ordino. What I was thinking was that even if it was Toxic, the Hippowdon, then yeah, it'd be cured by now anyway. So I don't think that Toxic miss was too much of a bad thing. Anyway, he goes into the Jirachi. I'm thinking this thing's Scarfed, so I just go for the Protector Scout, what he's going to go into. He goes for the Iron Heads, obviously I go into the Hippowdon. And I think he goes for the Body Slam here. Obviously it's a 3 Grace Body Slam, so I'm kind of lucky that he didn't get the Paralysis. But either way, like, a Paralysed Hippowdon isn't the end of the world. Got the Heal Bell and the Mega Ordino, so I'm not too fussed about that either way. He goes into the Vikavolt, I go for the Toxic. Now, Toxic on a Jirachi is quite ballsy. But I just knew he was going to switch out. Like, why would you keep a Jirachi in one-on-one against Hippowdon when you can't do any damage to it and it can Earthquake you? I was kind of hoping for like a Togekiss or something to come in, but yeah, I'm happy to get the Vikavolt Toxic. At this point, I go out. That was it. I went out into the Dracovish because at this point, I'll just go back a turn. Go for Toxic there. I'll just pause it there. So at this point, I know that I've got to make a big play. Mega Ordino is obviously the temptation. It's my special wall. It can eat up anything that he wants to do. Or maybe like the Excadrill or the Skarmory in case he does decide to go for the sticky webs, because he's not taunted at this point in the battle. And I was weighing up those 3 options in my head, but I was thinking, do you know what? I don't want to play as passively as I normally do. I want to play a little bit more aggressive this time. Hopefully that'll catch my opponent off guard. So yeah, I figured even if he went for like a Thunderbolt or whatever, he's only going to be doing about 40 to 50% to the Dracovish. So yeah, I figured let's just do it. Get the Dracovish out on the Energy Ball. So yeah, obviously the Energy Ball was there for the Appletuns. It's a really good prep on my opponent's part. But yeah, I mean the Excadrill, Skarmory, Mega Ordino, they would have all been really good plays to go into. But he didn't set up the sticky web, so 2 of those were moot. And the Mega Ordino would have been a nice switch, but it doesn't leave me with much momentum on my side of the battle. So now I've got this thing in front of me, and I'm thinking, well, something dies at this point. Literally any switching that he's got will either die in 1 or 2 hits, and with Choice Scarfed, I'm pretty sure that everything on my opponent's side of the field, apart from the Jirachi, isn't scarfed. And also the Togekiss might be scarfed, we can work around that. So yeah, if this thing stays in, it dies. Suicune is a 2-hit KO potentially. I can't quite remember. Drampa 2-hit KO. Actually, no, at that range. Yeah, at that range with the toxic damage and the stealth rock damage, I'm pretty sure the Fisher's Friend is a 1-hit kill on the Suicune if it's physically invested. Yeah, Drampa 2-hit KO. Jirachi is going to be a 1-hit KO. Or potentially a 2-hit KO if it's bulk invested. Darkrai 1-hit KO, and the Togekiss is a 1-hit KO after Rock's damage. So I'm in a really good position at this point. Yeah, go for the Fisher's Friend. He brings in the Drampa. Obviously do well over 50% on a resisted hit, which is beautiful. And the Drampa goes down. He brings out the Togekiss. Now I just want to pause it there. So I just want to get it up to speed here. Pause it there. Where was it he said it? Right, cool. I just want to say this message here, again, another vindication of my entire draft. He brought Drampa just in case I brought the Sun. He said afterwards it was to deal with the Ninetales and the Vileplume potential. It was a Sap Sipper Drampa. Again, my opponent literally brought 1 Pokemon preparing for Sun, which means that essentially this battle was 5 Pokemon against 6, because this Drampa didn't really have any viability against my team. I just feel so vindicated drafting 3 Weathers. Anyway, sorry, just going to watch that Drampa die for a 3rd time. Yeah, he goes out into the Togekiss, and I can see that it's heavy duty boots and not choice scarf, which is really nice. I think my Fisher's Friend was doing about 80 to 90% to him. Either way, it wasn't a 1-hit kill. So yeah, I was kind of tempted to stay in, thinking that his Dazzling Gleam would have been too obvious. So he might have gone for something else. I might have been able to live. I think I might have been living that Air Slash if I didn't flinch. Oh, wait, sorry, I had sped, didn't I? No, sorry, ignore that. Either way, I was living the Air Slash, so I was tempted to stay in and just Fisher's Friend this thing and get it out of the way, but I've done your one big ballsy play. I kind of want to just go back to being safe for a little bit. Going to the Peter Rabbit, obviously the special wall makes the most sense. I do go for a Wish here. He obviously gets the Air Slash flinch. And I was just thinking, I don't really want to be playing this game. I go for a Protect just for a bit of mind games, a bit of PP stall, that kind of thing. As he goes out to the Suicune. It's kind of annoying that I didn't go for the Dazzling Gleam there, but either way it would have been a Wish or the Protect. So I don't think Dazzling Gleam was really an option on my part, otherwise I would have taken out this Suicune. Either way, Suicune comes in. We all know what's coming next. We all know it's going to be a rest. I could have gone for a Wish off here. I could have gone for Wish, Dazzling Gleam, got my HP back. Like, this was an opportunity for me. This is where the battle potentially falls into a lull, and I can get some of my Pokemon, namely the Excadrill and the Dracovish, back up to health with Wishes, knowing that my opponent's going to be asleep for the next couple of turns. However, again, I don't want to be playing too passively this battle. I want to switch up my playing style just a little bit. So while he goes for the rest, I just go straight away into the Heliolisk. He's got no electric no electric immunities, and only 1 electric resist in Vikavolt, which is already down after toxic damage. It doesn't take stealth rock damage because I think it's revealed the heavy duty boots already. But yeah, after the toxic, we outspeed it, so he'll hit twice. Like, anyway, it's just like when the Drakefish was in on the Vikavolt, this is kind of my opportunity to like kill anything essentially. at least do heavy damage and do a bit of wall breaking with the Heliolisk. So I switch into the Heliolisk as he obviously does go for the rest, and I just go for a Thunderbolt here. It's a safe Thunderbolt. Goes out into the Vikavolt, and at this point I'm thinking I can either Thunderbolt, obviously this thing's dying, or whatever he decides to switch in is taking heavy damage or dying. So at this point it's whether I go for the Thunderbolt or the Volt switch. Basically it just depends on whether I want to have Heliolisk out against my next Pokemon, or whether I want to try and change up the pace a little bit. I do go for the Volt switch. I wanted to get something else out, save Heliolisk in the back for a little bit later, but either way the Vikavolt does go down. At this point I do go into the Peter Rabbit, the Mega Ordino. I kind of knew that obviously Darkrai was going to come out on the Mega Ordino, but I just wanted to, if he didn't go into the Darkrai, I just wanted the opportunity to get some Wish passes off. And yeah, I mean, this is the matchup that we all knew was going to be happening, like straight from when I looked at his draft. Like I knew that this matchup was going to happen at some point. And yeah, I obviously go for the Dazzling Gleam straight away. I know that he's either going to go for the Sludge Bomb straight up, which I think at this range had a chance to kill, but not a high chance, or he's going to go for the Nasty Plot. Either way, I don't want to give him the opportunity to go for the Nasty Plot for free. So I do go for the Dazzling Gleam. As yeah, there it is, the Nasty Plot. Now he's got the Berry, which is slightly annoying. It doesn't really change the battle too much, but yeah, he had the Berry. Either way, I'm pretty sure the Dazzling Gleam, I think it's a roll, but it's got a chance to kill on this turn. The only question is, obviously this guy is Nasty Plotted up, is he going for the Dark Pulse or the Sludge Bomb? If he goes for the Sludge Bomb, we switch out into the Skarmory. Obviously take no damage, because keeping the Sturdy intact on the Skarmory is absolutely key in case we need it for the Body Press to take out this Darkrai. So he either goes for the Dark Pulse or the Sludge Bomb. If he goes for the Dark Pulse, we stay in Dark Pulse. Sorry, if he goes for the Dark Pulse, predicting the Skarmory, we stay in with Mega Ordino. If he goes for the Sludge Bomb, just wanting to attack the Pokemon straight in front of him, then we go into Skarmory. However, I think at this point I've got to lose something, or at least risk something. And Skarmory is more essential to me at this point in the battle than Mega Ordino. Looking at his team, Mega Ordino, apart from maybe against the Togekiss as a special wall, but obviously Togekiss is just going to be flinching me anyway. And for the Suicune, we've got the Heliolisk to deal with that. So at this point, my Mega Ordino is not needed in the battle. So I'm kind of happy to sack it off. So I do keep it in. He does go for the Dark Pulse, and obviously I went for the Dazzling Gleam. However, he gets the flinch, which is really unfortunate for me. Like I said, I can't remember if it was a roll or not. I think it was a roll in my opponent's favour, so I might not got the kill, but you know, heavy damage on a Dazzling Gleam would have been nice. Either way, he got the flinch. Which I know that he missed a Toxic, and there was another. Oh, and he didn't get the Paralysis on the 60% Body Slam on the Hippowdon. But I think that 30% Dark Pulse flinch kind of counteracts those two a little bit. So I felt a little bit hard done by there. But yeah, now that I can see that Dark Pulse is not even it's going to be a 2-hit KO. It's not going to be a 1-hit KO at this range. I think that my opponent probably will go for the Sludge Bomb. He sees that I'm not switching out for the Skarmory. Maybe he's thinking that I don't know he's got the Sludge Bomb or something like that. So a Skarmory would have been a relatively safe switch in here. However, I'm still very much of the mind of that, like, I'd much rather not risk my Skarmory. I'd much rather risk my Mega Ordino, even though it's a high risk, than risk my Skarmory, which is more important. So I go for the Protect here just to see what he's going to do. He goes for the Sludge Bomb. I kind of want to just mind game him a little bit. Now he knows that I know that he's got the Sludge Bomb. So yeah, at this point, I know he's going to go for the. I mean, to be fair, at this point, it was pretty much a 50-50, right? Like I say, he knows that I know that he's got the Sludge Bomb. I already knew that he got the Sludge Bomb, but now all of the information's out in the air. It's literally a case of, does he click Dark Pulse because I stay in, or does he click Sludge Bomb because I switch out? But either way, I don't want to risk. Don't risk Skarmory. I could have gone with Skarmory on that Sludge Bomb, got it in free, but it's not really worth it. And then at this point, I was thinking, do you know what? I keep pressing pause at the wrong moment. I do apologise. So yeah, I was going to go into Skarmory. The entire plan was to go into Skarmory once Mega Ordino went down, and then let it Dark Pulse me down to my Sash, and then I just go for the Body Press. However, I was looking. I basically what I did is I did my cheeky little thing of knowing exactly what move I was going to do. It was after the Mega Ordino had died. There's no Pokemon on my field. I had to choose the next replacement. I knew I was going to go for Skarmory. I just wanted to let my opponent simmer for a minute. I didn't want him to think that I had an immediate answer to it. So I just sat there. And then as I was sat there, again, I was going to click on Skarmory. That's the only button I was going to press. But I was sat there and I was thinking, do you know what? Why not bring in Dracovish? It kills the Darkrai, so it at least forces the switch. It's got a decent chance to kill the Togekiss. My Dracovish is not a Wincon at this point, so just heavy damage on a Togekiss is nice. If it takes me out, then we got the Excadrill, alright? Again, it does heavy damage to the Jirachi. I don't think it KOs it. Actually, after Rocks, I think it did about 80 to 90%, so after Rocks I might have got the KO. But either way, Dracovish isn't a Wincon, so I kind of just wanted to put a bit of pressure on him. And throughout this minute, when I was again still only going to click Skarmory, I was just thinking, I kind of mind game myself. And yeah, I inevitably went into the Dracovish and I just hit the Fisher's Rend. He goes into the Suicune, and yeah, obviously don't do too much damage, and he reveals the Rocky Helmet, which is a bit annoying, but I'm thinking, right, this guy has had 0 turns of sleep. Obviously, rest is always 2 turns of sleep, so this guy can't move for 2 turns. Fisher's Rend is doing 31%, and he can't recover that HP, so we'll take heavy Rocky Helmet damage, but again, either he switches this thing out and something else dies, or we can take out the Suicune, which is the one thing stopping the Excadrill from sweeping, and that was Suicune was the main concern throughout my entire prep. So I'm just thinking, yeah, I'm going to stay in. Yeah, Rocket Helmet's a little bit annoying, but like I say, I don't care. I'm not preserving this thing. I just want to take out some walls. So yeah, he goes out into the Togekiss at this point. And like I say, I'm happy to sack off the Dracovish now. I did a few calcs, and I think if this thing was bulky, I had a 43% chance to Oko. If it wasn't bulky, I had like a 90% chance to Oko. It's something like that. I can't quite remember the numbers. Either way, we know it's not scarfed because of the heavy duty boots, because it doesn't take damage on entry. So it's just a safe Fisher's Rend. And then when we die, we can either bring in the Heliolisk or go Hippowdon, then Excadrill, and we can just... At this point, I'm thinking I kind of have one. Go for the Fisher's Rend, and it is a one-hit KO. Now, when I was playing the battle, I had muted the spectators, as I always do. So I was only getting my opponent Pokeprimer's messages from this exchange. But he said it was rolled slightly in his favour, so I knew he was like fully HP invested. He says, yeah, calc says Jolly just 9. That was the calc that I had on my screen as well, 90 to 106. I said to him, I was like, you know, it is slightly in your favour. But 43%, like, it's slightly in his favour. It's still relatively 50-50. But I was thinking that, like, yeah, I can... even if he would have taken out my Sid Vicious, I would have gone Dracovish, and then I would have gone Excadrill for the Sand Rush. However, what he said, I can't remember whether it was in this chat here or whether he told us afterwards, but the Togekiss was Tailwind. And obviously, if his Tailwind, his Tailwind will outspeed my... so his Tailwinded Jirachi, or his Tailwinded Darkrai, they would both outspeed my Sandrush Excadrill, and so he could take me out that way. He also revealed that afterwards that he was Shuckerberry on the Jirachi. So yeah, I thought that he was being a little bit ridiculous, complaining about the 43% chance, because I was thinking either way, if you take out Dracovish, I win. I now understand why he was a little bit salty, because he had all of the prep and all of the counters to, at the very least, counteract the Excadrill sweep from the Sandrush. So quite genuinely, I did say to my opponent, either, like I said, unlucky here. I think I mentioned it again at the end of the game, like, that was actually... like, it's not as mad as 2 10% freezes in a row like I had a few weeks ago, but it was a slightly lucky roll. Anyway, he goes out into the Jirachi. We know this thing's not choice scarfed, so the Fisher's Rend KOs, and then he goes into the Darkrai. We know this thing KOs. And yeah, we get a Dracovish sweep to finish. Where did that come from? This battle was one that, I've said it many times, I felt so unconfident going into it. My opponent's a really, really good prepper, really good battler. So the fact that we've somehow come out on top of that. Like, yeah, luck was a little bit in my favour, but also... obviously, like, my opponent's running hacks the team with the Jirachi and the Togekiss, so it's difficult to feel too hard on him.
when hacks don't go in his favour when he's drafted the hack team, right? And I don't mean to sound like a dick saying that, but it's kind of legit. Yeah, we somehow came out with a win, and if I now go here, this is the league standings. We're back up to second. Obviously, we're still looking behind us, still looking at eighth, and eighth position is only 2 wins off us. Granted, our differential's a lot better, but anything can happen in a few weeks. So we've still got a really difficult run in to the end of the season. A couple bad results, and if results go against me in other battles, we could very easily see us drop down the positions and potentially out of the playoffs. But beating a man like PokePrimer, beating the Anaheim Appletuns is really, really good. I mean, I've said it before, momentum is tangible. We had 1 loss last week, didn't play badly, just my opponent outplayed me. But yeah, I think that this momentum from before that loss could still be going. And yeah, hopefully we can make it for the rest of the season.